You have done everything you have achieved without the aid of a manager, agent, a publicist. You had no TV credits. So talk to me a little bit. At one point, you were ready to give up. And you discovered your method of writing and creating material. And how did you take your career from a point where you were ready to give up to where you are now, to doing your own one-man show in Hawaii?
Well, what happened is all I did was focus on being as funny as I could be. That's it. And I got some breaks along the way. You got time?
I got time. If you've got time.
Okay, if you got time, I'll tell you one of the breaks that I got. First of all, I started doing corporate stuff very early. I won a comedy competition and ended up with some folks that were doing different things. And one of the things that I got to do was I got to open for a now deceased comedian whose name was Dennis Wolfberg. And this was a comedian who he had a TV deal and he got brain cancer and died. But I did an 800-seater. I opened for him at an 800-seater within months of that, and that was because of winning this comedy competition. Then I started, what happened was, as a part of this comedy competition, I started performing at the Improv. And I went in there, killed them, but I also filled the room. And so they had me back. I went in and killed them. And I did that for 6 months, performing every month and filling up their room. So I basically started out as a middle act,
okay,
for all intents and purposes. And then when that comedy club died, I had to start over. I didn't even know how to be an opening act, you know. But I was killing them and filling up those rooms. So I learned how to promote a room. Then the Coach House, which is their primary place is a 600-seat venue in San Juan Capistrano. And they had 3 other venues: the Galaxy Concert Theater, which is a 500-seat venue, the Ventura Concert Theater, which was a 1,000-seat venue, and then they opened up a 450-seater in San Diego. And I had a reputation at this time. I mean, I was headlining one-nighters. I was doing the regular comedy club gigs, blah, 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 blah. And this was all because I could kill them. You know, people would call me and go, okay, man, we need this, we need that. And I had the time to do it. Well, guy calls me up with the Coach House. I didn't contact them. He says, hey, and this was a guy who couldn't barely do open mic stuff. He goes, hey, how would you like to come down to be the middle act at the Coach House for a comedy show? And I said, sure. He goes, would you mind promoting it? I said, no. And I said, who's the headliner? He goes, I am. And I was like, okie dokie. So I promoted that show. There was 300 people in that room. Well, that particular night, the manager got sick. So the general manager from the main Coach House, his name was Roger LeBlanc, came down to fill in that night. And so the opening act did his thing, warmed them up perfectly. I went out there and did my 30 minutes, just nailed that crowd. And then this guy got up, and for an hour, he sucked. He just blew chunks. Mm-hmm. And I had other comedians around me because they were following me, because I had just kind of came out of the woodwork and was getting all these gigs, and they couldn't figure out how. You know, they couldn't figure out, oh, man, did it be because he's funny? So at the end of the show, we go in to get paid. Well, you know, the headliner gets paid first, and this guy goes in. He's white as a ghost. He comes out. I said, hey, man, better luck next time. He couldn't even talk to me. Mm. I go in to get paid, and Roger LeBlanc looks at me and goes, where in the hell did you come from? I said, oh, I just like doing comedy. He goes, you're going to be performing for us. And so I ended up starting out as a middle act, opening act, and then ultimately a headliner in all these huge venues.
Great.
Well, then 4th and B opened up, which was a converted bank, 1,500-seat venue. Well, you develop a reputation, and they say, hey, how would you like to come down, blah, blah, blah. And I went, okie dokie. And so, boom, there's 1,500 seat venue there. And at the same time, I'm doing corporate gigs. You know, after my first year, I mean, this is after I had developed my stuff and I had momentum. And I was in the San Diego area at this time. Every Christmas, I was making $10,000 to $15,000 doing all different kinds of gigs. I mean, and I did that for years. And it was all based on referral business. Well, as far as my Navy salary goes, that was a third. And I had been in the Navy for a long time. I was making okay money. That was a third of my money made in 1 month. And then I had gigs throughout the year. Then I had local talent agencies that would call me, you know, and so it wasn't just one thing, but what got me where I was at was the fact that I could kill a crowd with consistency. And I could do the comedy club, not that my comedy club thing, not that my act had a lot of profanity or was very adult, but I could do that. And I also had enough material where I could go into the corporate thing and deliver what they needed without embarrassing the person that hires you, and get referral work from that. And so if you want to know, it's just like a stand-up comedy act. It wasn't just one thing. It was being able to perform over and over again. And so another thing that happened, when you're able to work in comedy clubs, you're able to kill. You're going to work with other comedians who are running rooms. And so when they see you, they're looking for talent, they're looking for people that can actually, you know, deliver the goods. And so there was several comedians that had worked rooms, and I got booked from those shows.
Okay.
So does that give you kind of an overview? I hope that helps.
Yeah, it did. You know, it boiled down to the fact that you had the skill and the talent to get up there and do that, to kill the room. And if people don't have that, it makes the entertainment business a lot harder.
Yeah, you nailed it.